Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Saturday morning's edition. Listen, if you are watching the greatest show on these YouTube streets, you already know what we're going to do. Like, subscribe, share. You can also join us in the comment section and or come on into the room. We're inviting you to come into the room. Who we have on deck this morning? Adolph is not here this morning. However, we have Allan Lengel. We gave him the nickname of Eastside Al of Deadline Detroit, Deadline Detroit and the Washington Post, and also a commentator and co-host of the show The Week That Was that comes on every Friday. Good morning, Allan Lengel.
Good morning. Good morning.
We also have our downriver brother, I always call him my downriver brother, the former chief of the police of the Trenton Police Department, Jim Nardone. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Allan. Good morning, Jill, Duela, Derek, and everybody else that's out there in Detroit and Black and White land. Thank you for joining us this morning.
So we're not going to take long. What we're going to do is we're going to start with, we had discussion offline. So we're going to start with, we haven't done outrages. I haven't done an outrage in a minute. I'm not going to do one today, but I believe Allan has a couple of outrages. Then we'll
many. I say many.
Oh, Lord. And then
when you say my brother from downriver, I always think of Cornell West, who, when we had him on the show, he said, "Okay, my vanilla brother."
Right.
I love that.
President Cornell West. It'd be a better world if Cornell West was the president right now. I believe that.
It depends on it depends on if you ask his ex-wives. They said no, he ain't paid his child support. But
that don't mean he's not a good. That could go for the current president, the last president, the last 16 presidents. Hello, Janet DeBrayler, 5938. Stephanie, good to see y'all this morning.
So we're gonna go to Allan, then Jim, and then of course myself. I didn't even introduce myself this morning. I don't have to. Everybody know who I am. Vanessa Moss, the boss.
Probate court judge candidate. You only have 4 choices. Pick the right one. Make the right choice.
Well, it's down to 4.
November.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Okay, wow. So 3 out of 4 are gonna.
Oh, that was something I do want to talk about. These challenges. Yeah, now it's 4, but there's still may change. I know I'm on the ballot.
Okay. Yeah. So it may change to even less, or wow. So then it'd be a shoe-in there. That'd be cool.
Nice. Anyway, but yeah, go ahead, Al.
Okay. So, anyways, I'll try to run through these really quick. One is the Detroit News reports that the Gordie Howe International Bridge, which looks like just a beautiful bridge, is just days away from completion. However, one of the big question marks is that Donald Trump's been back in February. He vowed to not let it open unless Canada, acquiesced to different things, and he made up stuff saying there wasn't. Here's the deal: is that the Michigan legislators hemmed and hawed about helping fund the bridge. So Canada finally said, "We'll pay for everything. Right. We'll get it back. We'll get back our money through the tolls. And when we get back all our money in the tolls, then we'll split it with the U.S. We're in partnership, but we'll put up all the money." So they use both sides. If you go down near the bridge, both sides had employees working on the bridges. They used American steel. Trump said they didn't use American steel. He made a lot of false statements. And some of the underlying reasons, allegedly, for him trying to block it is that Matthew Maroon, the owner of the Ambassador Bridge, donated $1 million to his PAC that supports Trump. And then Trump was suddenly raising hell about it. Matthew Maroon's been trying to block the Gordie Howe Bridge in every which way because it's going to take business away. It's competition. There's trucks going all day back and forth. So anyways, that's one. I'll say
on that. Can I comment on that story?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sure.
So, I read an article the other day about that very thing. And, the reason I believe he's doing it is because one of his biggest donors said, "Hey, I don't want this to happen." It's going to happen. We don't know when, but it's going to happen. Trust and believe. Okay.
I think I think Canada spent like $4.8 billion on the bridge. It's gonna happen. I mean, Michigan is all in. Trump was all in previously when the bridge was announced, and when they started construction in 2018, Trump was all for the bridge and saying how great it was. But suddenly Matthew Maroon, which I don't think is a good thing for the Maroon image, because they've always been sort of portrayed as sort of the evil billionaires. And
listen, back in 2016, I was down a meeting down in Southwest Detroit. I think it was quite disrespectful that they did not even consider what the residents in that area wanted. They didn't want the doggone bridge.
Right.
They didn't want it. So you vote, and you put people in office to look out for your interests. And what you do is you ignore the interests of the people that live in the neighborhood. And let's not forget, those people that were bought out, they were bought out for pennies. They had to go, some of those people owned their homes. And guess what? They left their homes, and now they have a mortgage. So yeah, he may look bad, but is he the only one that could look bad? I would think that if you go down and ask some of the residents down there, they would say, yeah, he may be the boogeyman, but we got a problem with all these people that over here, all these people that said that they represent us. And guess what? They passed the legislation anyway. So
but we have, I mean, look, we have a history. I mean, Poletown, Factory Zero, whatever, they wiped out a lot of homes there. Nobody wants to be displaced from their neighborhood. And oftentimes the money is not enough. I mean, Marathon Oil Company, it's so polluted in that area, they were offering to buy out people because they wanted to create sort of an area of no man's land where nobody was living there. And some people refused to take the buyouts, and they're still living there, but it's so polluted. But so it's not unusual. We have freeways and people get, they get forced out of their homes and stuff like that. It's never a popular thing, but it happens. So the other thing is, I won't get to all of them, but one is a judge. The federal judges have, I think, helped preserve some of the democracy here in this country. They blocked Donald Trump. A judge has ordered Donald Trump's name off the Kennedy Center. It's already named after a president. Now he had it the Trump's Kennedy Center. The judges said only Congress can name the building and only Congress can rename it. And so he's been ordered not only to take the name off, but they were going to shut it down for 2 years to renovate the whole building. And now they may reopen it without doing that major renovation. I mean, Trump is like, it's like, Kim Jong-un and Mao Zedong, where they have the pictures everywhere. He's so into the branding. He wants a $250 bill with his picture on it for the 250th birthday of America. It's just crazy. Anyways.
Okay. We're going to get to some comments. First of all, we want to acknowledge all those that have joined the greatest show on these YouTube streets. Derek Henry, good morning. Dwayla, good morning. Jill, good morning. Stephanie, good morning, good day. Is that Deborah Lair? Good morning. Janet Saluk, Jill Sheridan. She says, let loose, Allan. Good morning, Karen Winston. We missed you last night. Less is more. He compliments you, Allan. He says, comprehensive article you wrote about the tragedy of Romel Frazier Jr. endures. Tamiri Kimmick, good morning. Deborah Harris, good morning. Kenneth Reed, good morning, team. I was about to head down to McShane's. Glad you didn't. Michigan, Mr. 1213, he said Michigan legislatures probably are on Trump's side and installing the opening of the bridge because they didn't want it. I don't know about that. The legislatures went along with it, but the residents didn't want it. Timo, you know what? If you gonna come on here and be disrespectful,
we're not gonna let him do that, because it's okay if he thinks he's a libtard. He's entitled to his own opinion of himself.
I think he's
talking about himself, but that's okay. He can do that to himself. I mean, I appreciate self-evaluation is an important process that we go through in life. So, if you're a libtard, just you can be reformed. You don't have to be whatever you think you have to be. So we appreciate you joining the show, but
I think it's called trolling.
Well, listen, I remember last night we talked about opinions, right? And they belong to you and you only. That's Jim's opinion. Vanessa has her opinion. Allan has his, and Timo has his. And I'm telling Timo, listen, I'm not going to tell you to get off the show, but I am going to tell you to stop it.
But you can be a liberal, you can be a conservative, you can be a middle of the roader. We welcome all on our show, but why are you attacking people? Don't attack what you fear. Just be part of the solution.
Okay. Less is more. The course will stop the Trump bridge stoppage. Kenneth Reed said, he's not big on driving on bridges, but he wants to drive the Gordy. G Money Hollywood, good morning, Jim. It looks like you are struggling with the sun. I'm happy about these warmer and sunnier days. We don't get many of them.
And good morning, G Money. I am struggling with everything today. I think Vanessa wore me out on the show last night. So. and all our friends out there, thank you for commenting.
All right. Les says these grand projects include the Ford refurbished train station are monuments to the rich. Tamira Kemet says Iran has put a $56 billion bounty on Trump and not Netanyahu. Stephanie said, good morning. Ken says, I think that you have to be deceased before being put on currency.
And there's a lot of people hoping for that out there today.
Right. Marion Holt, good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry, Marlon. Good morning. Dorian Denard, good morning. G Money says it looks like several federal judges are blocking President Trump's takeover of the Kennedy Center and is trying to block the, $1.8 billion payout, in which I don't think will happen anyway. Miss Sheila says solutions is everything. Thanks, Jim. And Tamiri says if there's a $56 billion reward on your behind. I don't know what else she said, but anyway, you guys see it. Ira said good morning. He just joined.
Ira.
And Mr. Duckett, good morning, Mr. Duckett. Okay.
We're sorry he's working today, but we're glad he had time to join us. I'm glad to see Ira. Ira had some good points the other night. We didn't get to him. Thanks for coming back, Ira. Our DPD legend.
All right. So we're going to go to you, Jim. What do you have to say?
Well, I woke up with the news today. Maybe Timo, whatever, it might enjoy this story, which I thought was kind of outrageous. I guess there's a couple things, right? Sean Hudson is the director of community relations with the Washington Nationals, right? He has a poster in his kitchen while saying he's a far left leaning, whatever he is, bald man. He said that we should give money to the Communist Party every time somebody hits a home run, which is his prerogative. All right. He works for the Washington Nationals. He was probably illegally recorded, but it all started with a baseball player was opposed to the Los Angeles Dodgers, a team that had a drag queen nuns, and he's a Catholic. So basically, Sean Hudson came out and said they basically tried to exclude this a baseball player. I don't even remember his name now. He's a pitcher from team events and meetings and such because he's a Catholic and he believes in his faith. Well, that's an interesting take. Another thing he did is, they don't allow certain people in certain meetings. So they're basically segregating people in their organization. And most concerning to me, not about this particular individual, as though he basically told this undercover reporter that the Washington Nationals are spying on everybody that buys tickets to their games. So I guess communism is in fashion.
Do you believe that? Do you believe
that?
that?
I was ready to ask you, do you believe that?
Do I believe the story?
I know that they're spying on everyone who buys tickets.
He said that. Well, I'm going to tell you this. 3 years ago, I bought tickets to a football game through Ticketmaster in Tampa to see the Lions play in Tampa. And I tell you, they know more about me. I guess when you go into a website, you give them information, you give them your age, you give them your sex, your race, whatever the case is. I guess my biggest issue is they're putting us in buckets, and that's exactly what this man said that works for the Washington Nationals. He's the director of community relations. And if you watch his statement, it's kind of scary, right? I think there's a lot of people accusing the right of trying to take over our world and controlling everything we do. But again, it's going on both sides. So if you believe in one side or the other, you better take a good look at what's going on. These are the people that want to take away, a constitutional right to the Second Amendment. And these are the same people that want to take away your right to ride a motorcycle without a helmet. It's total control over your life. And you can accuse Trump of doing it. And I see some of the points where he may be trying to do that. But if you think the left isn't doing it, you need a balanced approach to this.
Go ahead, Allan.
I was going to say, I think in many cases it has nothing to do with politics. Businesses, General Motors was busted for selling information from its drivers, including driving through their satellites and stuff, selling information that was going to insurance companies. And
you don't think that has anything to do with politics? I think all roads lead to politics.
Well, I'll just say it's a business. Businesses are making money off of selling our information, our personal information. And some businesses will tell you we don't sell your information, but a lot don't. And look, when I call and order pizza at like Pie Sci on Trumbull, I'll call and they'll say your number, and they'll say, "Oh, Mr. Lengel." I'll give the number, and they'll say, "Oh, do you want to try the Marguerite pizza again?" Everybody is accumulating data, and whether some are benefiting, some companies are selling data. I think the Huffington Post was selling data. That's how they made money. You wonder if you donate to one place like the DIA, suddenly you might get a call from the Zoological Society. What's happening is people are sharing data and selling data and stuff like that. We don't realize how much of our data, our personal data, is out there and being sold.
I'm more concerned with the I get the information, right? It's a marketing tool, right? You buy a pair of pants, from one golf pants, and there's 5, you get 5. I get all that, right? But what I'm more concerned about is segregating people. Where does it end, right? We're segregating Catholics. Are we segregating people by their race, by their sex, by their age? That leads to that's a huge question, right?
By their income bracket, by their titles, by their
their car and their insurance rates because they live in a certain zip code, right?
Yes.
That's America. The world is when we talk about, can we show this video? When we talk about the country club, exclusivity and all that, and I know you guys have talked about the Mackinac Policy Conference where you have to pay, it's either $4,000 or $5,000 to attend, and that probably doesn't include your hotel and all that kind of stuff. But Charlie LeDuff was excluded from there, which the bar has got to be pretty low to say you don't qualify as media. And I think because the chamber is affiliated really very closely with Mike Duggan, and he hates Charlie and Charlie hates him, I think they figured out a way to block Charlie. So do we have time to play this?
Absolutely.
Yes. We have to apologize to Kenneth Powell because we said we were going to be at McShane's. So we apologize, Kenneth. Grand Prix,
Okay.
We're on our way to Mackinac Island for the yearly Policy Convention. That's the orgy attended by the financial masters of the universe, officials of the Uniparty, and members of Michigan's corporate media, where they get together, get drunk, get laid, and figure out ways to screw the public. Breaking news, we're here at the Mackinac Island docks, and the media has begun to disembark from the ferries. The event is completely closed to the public. That way they can orchestrate their bribery schemes in private. Champagne. What kind is it?
It's actually sparkling wine from Michigan.
Sparkling wine from Michigan. Dipped chocolate. It's free to journalists, but I'm a reporter, and they wouldn't let me in. It says we've received Mr. LeDuff's application for media credentials for this year's conference, and we do not believe that he meets the standards.
Okay, so if you're not registered, I'm not allowed to let you in.
Is there a supervisor I can talk to? I just got this. It's a surprise. It says, do not believe I'm qualified media.
I realize that.
All the way up.
Can we step outside?
Sure, we can step outside. Just so you know. Here's an Emmy. I get a lot of these at home. This is a New York Times bestseller.
You're talking to a messenger. We're not going to let you in.
Been kicked out of
They kicked me out, but
Never.
the security's ex-casa was good. How you doing, Warren? Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
Hey, Mike Duggan.
This year was supposed to be Mike Duggan's coronation for governor, but we blew him up. Now we hear Dan Gilbert's trying to ram through that Rensen deal over oysters and mint juleps. What are they hiding?
I saw it the other day and I just laughed. And to your point, exclusivity, I don't know how in good conscience, and they've been doing this for I don't know how many years.
Long time.
But you have these conversations, these think tanks about what impact our lives here in Michigan. And we don't get a chance to have a seat at the table. I think that is ridiculous. Now, my question to Charlie would be, what were the qualifications? What qualifications did you have to meet?
I can't, it's interesting. I mean, people said, I'm sure, we had Deadline Detroit's had people there in the past. We've never had a problem with it. Deadline Detroit had a lot of very critical things about the Illiches over the years, about them basically, I think, sort of scamming money from the city and then reneging on their promises to develop the stadium area, where they started just building parking lots and stuff like that. And so on opening day, we applied for a press pass. So a photographer who had previously been the chief photographer for the Free Press in terms of taking pictures at Tiger Stadium, they wouldn't give us a pass. And they said, we don't qualify. And they said, so they sent me all the qualifications. I wrote back and said, we match every qualification. And they still wouldn't let us in. And I think that's what's happened here, is that Duggan is very tight with the chamber. And I think Duggan or whoever said, we don't want Charlie roaming around. It's like putting the fox in the chicken coop. They didn't want Charlie roaming around and harassing people. And they figured out some way to say no.
So my question is, this is one person with all those people out there. It sounds like something else. That one person has that much power and control over everybody that he can block one journalist from coming. And my next question is it something that you're hiding, or is it that you don't want his kind of analysis being put out there to the public? Well, you missed a mark, because now we have this image of, Charlie basically dogging him out. Look, I'm considered an outsider. I can't come in. So what are they hiding from the public? I mean, that to me, that's crazy. So I have those questions. One, are you telling us that the former mayor of Detroit, Mayor Duggan, is that powerful that he can say that journalist, they can't come in? I don't see why anybody would not have a problem with that.
Well, I have a question too. Go ahead.
Yeah. Two, it looks unbalanced as far as I'm concerned, because now we're going to see the Free Press and whoever else, these journalists coming out with these articles about what happened at Mackinac Island. And what I've read is all glowing reports. Everybody's getting along. It's not like the barbecue that I go to, or a picnic that I go to for the family. Okay. It's not one of those. That's hard for me to believe. Okay, go ahead.
No, my point is, really quickly, and we probably should take a break. My point is this: if they're using taxpayer dollars, and we know they all are, then we should have complete, whoever wants to walk in and listen to what's going on should be able to do that. It's our money that they're using for these events. It's our money for their mint julep and their prime rib and whatever else they're doing up there, right? It's our money.
I think, I mean, some of it's through the chamber, which is through businesses contribute to the chamber and stuff like that. I mean, the fact that some politicians, I mean, there's a lot of politicians there who are going, the governor goes there, all the candidates there, Jocelyn Benson, everybody's there to be seen. So there is.
We have this thing called the freedom of information.
Yeah, right. But where we can't, the thing is, I've always looked at the press is like, we can sit in on there's limited, like in the Kwame Kilpatrick trial, there were limited seats, how many people could go in there. So they had a media section, it was limited, but we're there representing the public, reporting on that. I'll say Nancy Kafer did a nice piece on Rick Snyder, because Nolan Finley did a piece saying Rick Snyder is talking about running for president. And I wrote something about that saying it was bullshit. But Nancy Kafer really did a takedown of Rick Snyder, saying, let's not romanticize, let's not romanticize about Rick Snyder. Rick Snyder shifted the responsibility of taxes more on the people and shifted it away from business and did some stuff and he did some good stuff too. I think all in all, the bankruptcy in Detroit, I know the pensions are screwed up as a result of it, but the bankruptcy in Detroit generally was a positive thing for the city of Detroit that Rick Snyder was involved. But the Flint water crisis is still a crisis.
So we have someone decide to come into the room, but we got to take a break. We didn't take a break. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to address Mr. Evans, and we got some very good comments. So Detroit Black and White, our Saturday morning's edition.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Saturday morning edition. We've been joined by one of our viewers, Mr. Michael Evans. Good morning, Mr. Michael Evans. How are you? What do you have to say?
Well, I have to say, I like the subject y'all working on today. I really was upset about the Charlie LeDuff story because, like you said, it's taxpayers' money. It should be open to all the people. That's what's wrong with government now. The Republican Party and the Democrat Party. It's not no such thing. It's America's money. This country, this city, this state, it's all inside America. And we letting a few people, and just like they all on Donald Trump or Biden, Obama did the same thing, put immigrants out. Donald Trump doing it. They want to bomb it. They want to get rid of ISIS. Both parties is full of bull. We need to eliminate this party and start voting as Americans, because I'm going to tell you right now, I hate that Mackinac Island. We got a Belle Isle Island. They go up there, they eliminate, I hate to say it, they eliminate us. They picked a few they pick of us, and they sell us out every chance they get. I hate to say it. They've been selling us out ever since listen, I'm going to say it and I mean it. certain black people that they choose to pick. They sell us out every chance they get. And it's unfair that, and I don't care about what your listeners say, but the truth need to be told. Black people been at the bottom of the barrel ever since we came here, and I don't care if they bring 12 nationalities over, which is they right. Why we still at the bottom of the 12? Why we 13th? We ain't even 11th. We ain't even 10th. We always at the effing bottom of the barrel, people. And that Mackinac Island, it ain't nothing but, to me, it's nothing but a bunch of politicians, criminals, because nowhere in the world Mike Duggan or Dugan should be running. He ain't even a politician no more. He done. He ain't the mayor. He ain't running for governor. How can he tell somebody they can't come? Tell me that. Make it make sense.
I just want to say I'm speculating when I say that. I'm guessing because he's really tight with the chamber that he may have had some say, or maybe the chamber did it on just thinking other people. So I just want to clarify that I'm speculating.
That because that's why I asked the question. You mean to tell me that one person was able to make that decision? It's probably a group of them that make the decision. But at the end of the day, it goes back to what Jim said. Listen, it's taxpayers' dollars, and you may have donors, right? And that's all relative. But we know that I know for a fact that some people gone and they didn't pay that. They didn't pay that fee. It's about who you know, what you know, and how you know it. So
Vanessa, that's what's wrong with everything. Just what you just said. Who you know, what you know, and all that. But it's all our money. This ain't theirs. They don't do nothing.
That's exactly
all the
right.
money we pay and they running the show. It's the people's money. It ain't theirs. It's not the governor's.
You don't think Sheriff Washington? I'm sorry, Mike.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. It's not theirs.
Sheriff Washington, Warren Evans, Mike Duggan's used. I don't know who's paying for his, but somebody is. But Vanessa asked me last night if I'd ever been. I said no. When I was working for the city, I felt responsible to the citizens of my community, and going up somewhere like that or going to another event. Allan has talked about IACP. Well, IACP is fine. It's the same thing as what we're talking about up there in Mackinac, right? It's a bunch of people paying a bunch of money for police chiefs to take them out to dinner so that you can buy their in-car camera or their body cam or their shotguns. We understand how the system works. It goes on all over. General Motors has, Black Lake in Palm Springs, right? Mm-hmm. The union has Palm Springs. They're buying watches for people. So this is not unusual. This kind of stuff goes on in pension forums, in attorney meetings, and media meetings. Am I wrong, Allan?
No, you're right. I will say this. So the International Chief of Police Conference, I would go as a reporter. So I didn't pay. I went for either ticklethewire.com, my other website, or ABC News when I was on retainer with them. I would go there. There were courses being taught. There were seminars. And also, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, former police chief, there were a lot of booths of different vendors, but there's some new technology out there, which I think police departments should stay on top of, and they were introduced to some new technology there and stuff like that. So
that's not my point. You're absolutely right, but they're selling it and buying dinner at Ruth's Chris.
Right? So let me make one point. Let me make one point to what I just heard, Jim and Vanessa. And what it seemed like to me is that's the problem. I'm going to just break it down like this. The government, all government, city government, federal government, county government, make a lot of people rich from federal and state and government contracts. That's what it seemed like to me. If I'm not there, and I'm talking about when I say me, I'm talking about all the citizens. If they are not a part of that clique, they don't get government contracts to build their family generational wealth. It seemed like to me that's what, and Jim, that's what all this is about. If you ain't in it, even though we vote, so what it seemed like to me, we need to watch who we voting for because we losing. So if we ain't up there making deals, swinging, doing whatever we gotta do, we don't get nothing. That's what it seemed like to me.
Okay, we're going to go to some comments because we this show exists because of people that watch Detroit Black and White make comments. Mr. Duckett, he makes a comment. His comment is, he said Pablo Torre has a terrifying story about Jim Nolan's surveillance in Madison Square Garden. It's unbelievable. That's to the conversation that we had earlier. To Mary, Kim says, skull and bones. Less is more says, tell us something we don't know. Deborah Harris says, we need to get out to vote. Miss Suzuki says that on Mackinac Island, Attorney Perkins was not allowed to debate other Detroit mayoral candidates. That goes to that whole thing that I was talking about last night.
The club.
You know, exactly. This exclusive club, this hierarchy and all of that. And what's so interesting is this. I'm going to talk about him in particular. He did not do as bad as people thought he was going to do. His message resonated with a lot of Detroiters. And so, again, how do you have dinner and don't invite the family to come? That's just crazy.
Because he's not the family. They didn't see Todd Perkins as part of the family, which is tragic because Todd Perkins has whether you like him or hate him, you don't have to vote for him. But Todd Perkins was on our show and he was outstanding. He was an outstanding guest. He's a brilliant man. Again, he's an attorney. So some people love attorneys. Some people don't love attorneys. Sure. But how do you keep Todd Perkins out of that opportunity? Why do you take that opportunity away from him? Because they are who they are.
Exactly. Deborah Harris says historical exclusion, centuries of chattel slavery stripped Black Americans of their wealth, degenerated, followed by post-Civil War barriers to land ownership, education, and economic progress.
Jay,
I believe I have all of the comments. I believe. No, Marla Holt says the Detroit Yacht Club will make a great venue for conferences. I don't disagree with you. You're right. And if Reed said dug into the page from the club manual on excluding certain journalists from Mackinac Junket. Alexis Moore says even local and legacy media is controlled by oligarchs. And Miss Suzuki says you will have to understand the history of Michigan in capital letters politics going back to McNamara. Hazel Park, good morning. Hazel Park says, because when we Blacks get into positions, some tend to compromise their integrity and we don't get anything. And there's an amen to that. I will say that most people will feel, I understand because I'm a Black woman, but there are people who feel that the same way that look like Jim and Allan. Okay, that you vote for people and they don't get anything. I think that's across the board. Okay.
By the way, Mike, yeah, I've been muting Michael only because I mute him like this. Okay. There's a lot of background noise coming in, so I don't know what to do about that. So, anyways, I think I'm muted right now, but we can't see him. I mean, if he wanted to say something, if he raised his hand or whatever.
Right.
I want to go back because I think you pointed out you're talking about old white men. I understand what you're talking about there, and I don't disagree with you. But I think Hazel Park Taekwondo hit the button when he said he's talking about people being. I'm going to use my terms, Hazel Park. If you don't mind, if you do, that's fine. Let me know. People being bought and sold in the marketplace come in all shapes and sizes and colors and ages and sexes. So I think that's the bigger point here, right? People get elected to office and then they decide not to represent us. They decide to represent themselves. And everybody's, no one's immune to that. No color or no candidate. So that's a lesson to all of us. Thank you, Hazel Park Taekwondo.
I talked to someone the other day and they told me the story about as a judge, you'd be shocked at how people would try to buy you and how it starts with, oh, let me buy you lunch. shake your hand and put money in your hand, and how you have to, if you have integrity, you say, no, I don't want this. But I understand that goes on quite a bit. So it's not just, you're doing that to benefit you. And there's a quid pro quo. You go rule in my favor, and you're getting money. And who does it benefit? Just those two people, not for people who put you in that position. It's the point that I'm trying to make. So
reporters have standards. I once did a story at the Washington Post on a cafeteria that had great pies, and they were closing. They'd been around forever, and they sent a couple pies over to the paper, and the paper made me take it somewhere. I took it to some homeless people and gave away the pies. We're not supposed to take. I mean, if somebody treats us for lunch, either we split it, or I say, okay, I get the next one. Gifts, not allowed to take gifts and stuff like that. So there are standards, and I imagine the same thing with sitting on the bench. People want to curry favor with you in any way they can. Why not? Like, hey, I just bought Vanessa an expensive lunch, and I took her to the suite at the Ford Field, and now I got a case before her. Wow, she's going to definitely give me a little slack here.
Yeah,
that's the attitude. And then that's why people with politicians are asked, you're getting all this money from this particular group. Don't you feel some obligation? You're getting, some people are getting millions of dollars from different lobbying groups or different companies. General Motors is always, when the inauguration comes, General Motors, Dan Gilbert would give, everybody's giving money to the inauguration saying, hey, don't forget about us.
And I think your point, Alan, it's all transactional, right? If you have an architect building your house, you bring him a turkey or a ham for Christmas, he might put a few extra, whatever, tile, ceramic tile in your bathroom, or
it's transactional. Nobody's given us $1 million. General Motors isn't giving us $1 million just because they think we're cool. They're giving $1 million if they think we can do something for them that'll help their business.
Thank you, Miss Sheila. Vanessa, you want to get back to our friends out there?
Yes, actually, we're going to take a break because it's 10:42, and then when we come back, I'll go to our friends in the comment section. And again, if you want to join us, come in the room. You don't even have to show your face. You could just do the audio. All right, Detroit Black and White.
And we lost Mike somewhere.
Your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Saturday mornings edition. I'm going to go to some comments, and then I'm going to go to a couple of my stories because I didn't get a chance to say anything. Deborah Harris, disparities in wealth and socioeconomic status are driven by systems. Well, shoot, let me just put it up on the screen. Did I put it up on the screen or no? Wait a minute.
I'm looking.
You looking?
There it is.
Okay. Disparities in wealth and socioeconomic status are driven by systemic barriers, historical policy, and institutional discrimination that have hindered Black Americans from accumulating and passing.
I agree with that. I think that's factual. I don't think there's any debate about that, Deborah. Thank you for your comment.
Right. I'm trying to go all the way back because we have so many. Somebody called the Mackinac Island Conference the Boule. Jay says there is one big club on top and you ain't in it. George Carlin.
That's exactly.
Tamara Kim, yeah, I agree. Now, Tamara Kim is saying now you're getting to the bottom of the elite class that run the world. Mr. 1213 says, was the mayor selected on Mackinac? Les says Todd was not wanted, is not wanted their voyage. Deborah Harris says, I voted for Todd Perkins. Kenneth Reed says they would have done Abdul Sayed the same way had he not been a viable candidate for the U.S. Senate. Dorian Denara says, muckraking. Deborah Hallis says, I love Jim and Allan.
Thank you, Deborah.
So,
we love you too.
Asa Park, Taekwondo says there needs to be a deep look into the county politics. Kenneth Powell says we are number one. Marlon Holt says know the policies politicians push before you give your vote. Dorian Denard says yellow journalism is mainstream media now. Les Moore says we would not purse the pleasure of those pathetic subhuman oligarchs. Leslie Moore says we should pursue the pleasures and desires of those pathetic. Oh wow. Les says we should no.
I think it means we should not.
Right. I think we should not.
Sorry, I don't want to speak for him. There we go.
Mr. Suki says, I do not know how voters can find out about the candidates when they don't attend the candidates' town halls to question the candidates. Karen, good morning, Karen. Karen Wilson says that's the game.
Hey, Karen C.
Les says money has always been the great equalizer. Tamara says, I comment on Detroit City Council meetings and I criticize Coleman Young Jr. He told me at the Mike Duggan press conference that the reason he hasn't helped me get home repairs because of what I say. Marlon Holt says, I'm a nudist and am I welcome to come on the screen? Laugh out loud.
Of course, Marlon.
We have Dorian D in the background here. You want to bring him out?
Okay, yes.
Hey, Dorian.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Good morning, Dorian.
Good morning, good morning. Interesting topic to this day. I saw a little bit of the show last night. I didn't get a chance to finish up. But as far as what's going on with the Mackinac situation, Duggan is running scared. He doesn't want any media on what's really the problem is the money that he received. I believe the city received, and he steered it, the bid steering situation with the dirt. And now, like someone had said before, how toxic is the dirt in itself? Is it really that toxic? But I will believe so. I wouldn't put it past a situation where you can cheap out on it and then you can overcharge. But that's just one of the myriad of situations that's going on. And the whole subject of the money and corporations basically running the media and our politicians, the American people, we have lost a lot. First of all, we captured democracy 60 years ago and we lost it 20 years ago. So we've been living in a republic ran by oligarchs and corporations. Bezos has more clout, and Elon and Zuckerberg. These particular people have more clout than me and you and I, the rest of us, voting any day of the week. And they actually control both parties, which are country clubs for these people. That's all they are. They're only interested in keeping their jobs. They are not serving us neither side. And we know this. The only issue is at this point, what are we to do? We must understand what we got, how we got here, which is, to me, in my opinion, Citizens United. We've always had a spoil system, but now it's permeated where General Motors can purchase a candidate. APAC can purchase a candidate, and they can purchase multiple candidates on multiple levels. And so graft is in, the new system is the old system. And here we're sitting here pondering why we can't get any information because they won't allow it. We will never get the what they're really doing behind closed doors with our money. How we have a monopoly right here in our state. We can't do anything about it, which is DTE. They raise rates. They go to our state legislation, who we voted in, and every last one of those people on, no matter what they told their constituents, we're never going to go up. We want transparency. Isn't that what the speaking term of all of these candidates that come on your show week in, week out, telling us about transparency and how they want to raise no rates and how they want to get that? They're bought and sold to, because there's power in the 3 Ps of society: politicians, pastoring, And unfortunately, the last one is pandering. Look at Epstein. You gotta think about what we're really about, what this country has really become, and what we really have always been, a big corporation. And I tell people all the time, we're nothing but a big mall. That's all we are. And so, of course, the money's going to rule. It's so easy to get a candidate that's trying to grassroots its way. And like someone, like you said, they go to these parties and somebody puts some money in their hand, and there they go. Now it's like putting a battery in someone's back, and they're going to work for them. They're going to work for their policy. This is why you got every community trying to fight data centers. When we got DTE on our back, and we're about to lose water and power, GLWA, we having water main breaks all around. I try to tell people all the time, pay attention to your local politics. Sometimes it's very good to understand who's your city manager or who's on the council. No one pays attention because they got us totally distracted with bread and circus.
Yeah. Okay, Dorian, thank you so much. One of the things that you talked about is these data centers. And I don't know if people are paying attention, but you have these politicians making decisions about the data centers, and they don't have much information about them doggone selves. They have not been educated. They're just trying to learn. So I'm like, how can you vote for something or support something that you don't even know, you don't even have good information on? So that's very interesting. And I think we talked about this a few shows back about how it's going to have an impact. You cannot tell me it's not going to have an impact, that it does not have an impact, because data centers are already here. We have at least 70 in the state of Michigan.
And we got to ask ourselves, who's behind it all? Who's funding? Right. How you buying a local candidate to vote for something like this? Who are behind this stuff? And we're not asking the right questions.
We're not asking how much of an impact is it going to have on our energy? How much of an impact is it going to have on our water system? I think those are valid questions. But thank you so much for joining. Do you have a question or comment, Allan, to our guest, Dorian, Jim?
No, I appreciate his input, though.
I just want to say thanks, Dorian, for coming on. Thanks for Mike Evans coming on. You guys make the show, and we appreciate it. And I was looking for Tailor-Made Media. I looked at a point earlier for him, and I sure can't find it now. And I want to say thank you, Tailor-Made Media, for being a part of our show.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a great one.
Thank you, Dorian.
So we could get to some more comments, but I do want to talk about a feel-good story. This morning, I read a story about a Detroit grandmother, how she finished her high school education at the age of 68. You know what? It says that it is never too late. She got pregnant at the age of 15. She got married at 17, divorced at 20, raised 4 kids, worked, had cervical cancer, beat that, and she decided to go and get her high school diploma. I think that's a feel-good story, and to somebody that lives here in the city of Detroit, a Detroit grandmother, is telling us that it's never too late. The lesson is this: every day that we are fortunate enough to wake up, to have function, be able to walk, talk, is another day to get whatever we want to get right. It's never too late. You're never too old to make improvements. So that was not my outrage. That was my feel-good story. And there was something else that I want to share with our viewers. There are always things going on in the city of Detroit, and I'm going to purpose myself to talk about those things that's going on. June 1st, there will be a job fair. There is a job fair. Let me see it. Open it. I'm trying to open it. Hold on a second. It's acting the fool. But June 1st, there is a job fair in the city of Detroit. I don't know why it's not opening, because I want to tell people where it is. But you can find it in the Daily Brief, Detroit, Michigan Daily Brief. But if you're looking for a job, you can go to this job fair. There's going to be people there that are offering jobs. So I would encourage people to go. All right. So I guess we can get back to some of the comments.
I had a couple of comments. And Allan, did you want to address that yellow journalism point earlier, or would you rather just pass it?
What was somebody was saying that all we have is yellow
mainstream media is
mainstream media.
Yellow journalism. Do you want to comment?
It's such a generalized statement. I don't really know how to, there's some good journalists out there, and there's some not so good journalists. Okay. There's some good publications. I mean, even, the News and the Free Press, they have some really good reporters. I know sometimes Eric Starkman, who does columns for Deadline Detroit, he's critical of some of the business reporting on the auto industry, saying that they're not skeptical enough and hard enough. So, I mean, yellow journalism's been an accusation that's been made about the media for decades and decades. And some of the media tries, there's some great reporters still out there, and there's some, reporters who aren't that great.
Sorry, that was Adolph. He forgot we had the show going on right now, so I need to check back with Adolph here. So our fearless leader. So there was a couple of comments that I just wanted to. G-Money was talking about Trump and the Kennedy Center, which is a fiasco. Ms. Suzuki was asking what they're paying the summer employees on Mackinac Island. I know that's a rhetorical point. We know what they're paying. Last time I was there, a lot of people from Jamaica were there. And TaylorMade Media went with the P word that I was thinking too. We did catch, we were going to say poverty.
I thought he was going to say poverty.
I thought the same thing. Thank you, TaylorMade. And Marlon loves your earrings. She's got her earrings.
Thank you.
Tamari wants to institute a new government. You may not be wrong there, Tamara. We might need an implosion, like some of the buildings here in Detroit. We have a left and we have a right, and I tell you what, and I know people are welcome to disagree with me, and I don't think either one of them are that good. I'll just say that. So, Karen says, great story, Vanessa. There's inspiration everywhere, and I think we need to identify that. There's inspiration all over. We talked about it last night with the slow roll and Mr. Hall and what he's doing out there for his community. I'm done. You want to talk? I think that's my wrap up. So you guys go ahead.
We should have the guy from Slow Roll who I think he was the head guy for 1 year. He had pizza every single day. And
Jason Hall? Are you talking about Jason? Is his name Jason Hall?
It could be Jason Hall. Yeah. He went to different pizza places every day. He had some pizza.
Well, I met him this week because I participated. You missed that, Alan, but he wants to come on the show. So
okay, that'd be great. Excellent.
Okay, I don't have anything else to add other than we got the Grand Prix. I thought you were going, Alan.
You know what? I've been to the Grand Prix once, and it was only when I was at the Detroit News where I was assigned that day. It was a Saturday. And I went. I'm not a huge Grand Prix. I mean, I'm in favor of anything that brings crowds to Detroit and brings in revenue for the city. But the racing is not really my great passion there.
Well, that's a lot of money. I think it's like $100 million they expect to come in. How much is that actually going to benefit the community?
Well,
how much is coming in, but actually is going out? I think that's a legitimate question.
I think taxes, hopefully, the hotels fill up, they pay taxes, the food, the restaurants are paying taxes. So how much, I think the city benefits from those years. When the city had the NFL draft, what was it, a couple of years ago, it brought in a ton of business. And what we're seeing is more and more hotels that are being built now to accommodate the conferences that they've said in the past. There's just not enough hotel space. So we're seeing more and more hotels popping up in the downtown area there. So it's all good. Like I say, I mean, I'm not a racing fan. I just don't really see the thrill of.
Yeah. I've gone a few times.
Yeah.
I know year before last, DeWayla went with me, and I'm like so over it. But for those that are enthusiasts, rah, that's great. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about, but I guess we could talk about it when we come back on Wednesday, and that is the amount of money that parents are spending on these doggone proms. Have you guys seen that stuff? Oh my gosh, they are going all out. And so I just want to know how you guys feel about it. I'll send you guys some of the videos, and then maybe we can weigh in on it. It is almost time for us to wrap up, so I'm gonna say, Tamiri says, I still want to have Sydney Callaway to talk about reparations recommendations by the reparations force. Okay. And Kenneth says, I'm glad the Grand Prix is back downtown and off Belle Isle. I agree with you, Kenneth. Yeah. I'm glad it is back downtown. Although it is kind of frustrating trying to get around. I had to go somewhere the other evening, and it took me about 25 minutes because I had to cut up all these different streets to get right there off of Joseph Campo and Jefferson. You know, I was mad as I don't know what, but you know,
what happens when you're in a penthouse?
Mad. It was just a temporary. It don't last. It doesn't last for a long time. It's really frustration. I should say mad, but I was a bit frustrated. Okay.
I mean,
great comments today. Go ahead.
It should never have been a Belle Isle. I mean, Belle Isle. I was there on Memorial Day, walking around on Belle Isle. I mean, such a beautiful park. You know, it's bigger than Central Park. It's got everything there. It was such a beautiful day. It was packed. In fact, when I was leaving about 5:30, they had shut the entrance for a couple hours because there were just too many cars on the island. But it's not meant. You know. They destroyed the island by doing that, the Grand Prix thing. It was ridiculous.
So, Allan, all I'm going to say is you stay on the east side.
Every time I think of that, I'm going down Elliott and I'm going down all these streets. I'm thinking, I am east side.
Stay on the east side.
I am east side.
Thank you, DeBragg.
Every today.
But Churchville.
Listen, it's time for us to wrap it up. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the weekend. Love you guys. Love you guys that comment on Detroit Black and White. Those that use the link. Dorian Denard, Mike Evans. Thank you guys so much for coming in the room. You all have a safe day, a good weekend, and I will see you guys again Wednesday.